Totally overwhelmed and you have no idea where to even start? Well, today we're going to dive into a story about a student who was in that exact spot, and we're going to uncover the 5 simple, but honestly life-changing keys that turned everything around for him.
Yeah, for so many of us, that journey through school isn't some straight, easy road. It's more like this. Kind of tangled, full of confusion, frustration, and that really awful feeling that you're just falling behind everyone else.
All right, so let's get into the story. And it all kicks off with a feeling I think we've all had at some point. That feeling of being completely and utterly lost.
So picture the student. He's really trying, he's putting in the hours. But no matter how long he stares at the textbook, the words just feel like a foreign language. His mind is just a storm of distractions. And what makes it even worse? He looks around and sees all his friends, and they seem to be getting it so easily. It's a really frustrating and lonely place to be.
So finally, he just hits his breaking point. He goes to his teacher and lays it all out. And this isn't just a question, It's a real plea for help. And that moment, right there, that's the turning point. Because the teacher just smiles and tells him, hey, that feeling is totally normal, and the solution, it's way, way simpler than you think.
And this is where things start to change. The teacher begins to lay out the path forward. And it doesn't start with some complicated new study method. Nope. It starts with 2 really basic ideas for calming that storm inside his head. The very first key is, it's probably the most important one. Before you can even think about taking in new information, you gotta make some room for it. You have to calm your mind. The teacher explains this with such a brilliant metaphor. He says a stressed-out mind is like a jar of muddy water. When you shake it all up with stress and worry, you can't see anything clearly, right? But if you just let it be still for a moment, the mud slowly settles to the bottom, and the water becomes crystal clear. Our minds, he says, work in the exact same way.
And the solution is just beautiful in its simplicity. We're not talking about some complex meditation here. It's just this. Before you even open a book, just close your eyes for 5 minutes and do nothing except focus on your breathing. In and out. That one simple little action lets all that mud in your mind settle down, giving you the clarity you actually need to learn.
Okay, so your mind's calm. Great. But how do you stop it from wandering off 2 minutes later? Well, that leads us right to the second key. You gotta anchor your mind in the present moment.
To show him how, the teacher lights a candle. He tells the student, just watch the flame. Of course, his mind is going to drift. He'll start worrying about a test next week or kicking himself for a mistake he made yesterday. But the teacher explains the goal isn't to never get distracted. The goal is just to notice when you are, and then gently, without any judgment, just guide your focus back to the flame, back to right now, because that's where your power is.
So now, with a mind that's calm and focused, our student is finally ready for the next part of the lesson, how to actually learn things.
So what's the real difference between just remembering words on a page and truly getting an idea? That question is at the heart of key number 3. See, too many of us try to be a stone. We just let the information wash over us. The real goal is to be a sponge. And this is such a great way to think about it. The teacher pours water on a stone, and it just rolls right off. Nothing sticks. But then he pours water on a sponge, and it just soaks it all up. When you just try to memorize facts for a test, you're being a stone. But when you ask why and try to connect the dots, that's when you become a sponge and you truly absorb the knowledge. Key number 4 is all about tackling that feeling of being completely overwhelmed. When a task just seems too big. The secret isn't to try harder, it's to make the task smaller. So the teacher puts this huge, solid block of wood in front of the student and says, break it. Of course, it's impossible. But then he shows him how that same exact block, once you cut it into smaller, bite-sized pieces, can be broken easily. That whole intimidating curriculum, that's the block of wood. Don't try to conquer it all at once. Break it down into chapters, then into sections, even down to single ideas. And suddenly, what seemed impossible starts to feel totally manageable. And now we've arrived at the final and maybe the most crucial key of them all. This is the secret sauce that holds everything else together. The one that makes sure success isn't just a fluke, but something that lasts.
The 5th and final key is all about one thing, consistency. It's not about how intense you are. It's about how regular you are. The real power is in that small daily habit, not in some heroic, last-minute, all-night cramp session.
The teacher's last analogy is just perfect. He shows the student 2 plants. One he ignores for weeks, and then, in a panic, he dumps a whole bucket of water on it. The plant drowns. But the other plant, he gives it just a little bit of water every single day, and that one grows strong and healthy. Your brain, your learning, it's that plant. It thrives on consistent daily nourishment, not on frantic cramp.
I mean, this quote really says it all, doesn't it? 20 minutes of focus work every single day is so much more powerful than a 5-hour panic session once a month. It's that small, steady effort that builds real momentum and creates knowledge that actually sticks. So, after all this, what happened? Well, our student's journey is a pretty amazing one. He went from total struggle to real success. He started applying these 5 keys, and at first, the changes were small. But day by day, his focus got sharper, his anxiety started to fade, and he actually started to enjoy learning. In the end, he didn't just pass his classes, he graduated with this whole new confidence and a real love for the process.
So let's just do a quick recap of the 5 golden keys. Number 1, calm your mind. Number 2, focus on the present. 3, be a sponge, not a stone. 4, break your work down into small pieces. And number 5, the big one, practice regularly.
And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. These keys, they're not just for studying. They're for pretty much any big challenge you want to take on in life. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? That one small, consistent thing you decide to start doing today, what kind of incredible success story could that become tomorrow?